welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanessa Ruck, the girl on a bike, and this video is a behind the scenes with me in Belize on a all-girls motorcycle tour with Big Girl Rides, and across the trip we did a couple of workshops to try and help improve the girls' confidence and riding skills. So let's get stuck into it.
Today we're going to look at bike recovery, we're going to look at some control braking, and then we're going to take our clutch control to the next level. So that's kind of what this workshop is going to do. So starting off, we're going to look at bike pickup. Now, if we look at the bike, then all sorts of things on the bike that we can grab that are going to help us. Now, the first thing to really emphasize on this is you can have a textbook pickup on a perfectly flat ground like that. When you're out in riding conditions, use the various techniques that we're going to go through, but you're going to have to feel your body, the terrain, what's going on to work out which is the best way to pick up the bike. And if anyone ever says to you, the only way to pick up a bike is a back squat or by the bars, absolute nonsense. You've got to go by how you feel, how the terrain around you, and ultimately if you can get your bike up without hurting your back, doesn't matter. Say it's on the other side and no other kickstands up, then when there isn't a kickstand, like if it's coming this side, you could drop it. So don't depend on the fact that you can have your kickstand down, because in most situations, anytime it's this way, your kickstand's not going to help you. It is worth always making sure it's in gear. Is by the handlebars. You're going to lower it down and squat up. You use your legs, big muscles. And again, you're straight back using those leg muscles. Another way to skin a cat is to go this way. Sometimes you won't be able to get that wheel turned around. You've got nice big breaths. For my hip, I can't get like that with this one without considerable pain. So you adapt to your body. And then engage the wheel, and then lift up. Anything is so easy. It's easy when you have the right position.
Come on, these bikes are on the ground. We need saving.
Okay. Still
Nice. Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah.
Technique, and then practicing strength and refining the technique.
I like that way
easier and easier.
the best out of the three.
Oh, cool.
Okay, thank you.
It's all very well practicing on one side, but when you fall off in the bush, it might be the other way, and you'll be like, what? This is back foot. So practice that stuff. So we're going to get on the bike. Just practice finding biting points. You feel comfortable that we have got a hill to do what we were doing on the driveway the other day. So on the flat, then we're going to do that. And then once you're feeling comfortable with that, we'll do some figure of 8.
That's one way. You can control the power with your clutch. And there's no rush to get your leg over. So you go forward. Stop. Now the advantages of that is that if you're on a tall bike where you can't reach the ground, if you're in a tricky situation where like it's too high to get over, or you just want to look cool outside a cafe, it kind of works.
The cool outside
So
of the cafe.
biting point. Hear the engine. I've got revs, and you're going to slowly release that clutch. It's going, right? That's biting point. So just feel where that power kicks in. And then you add that to the hill, you'll know when you're at biting point because you'll go backwards. Okay, and then we're going to go through some figure 8. Foot on the peg. I always have my front brake covered, finding biting points, so it's like trying to go, and then it's supposed to let it go.
Here we are trying to get the biting point of the motorcycle. So find yourself a little bit of a hill. You're going to use a little bit of throttle and clutch control, and as you release your clutch, you'll gently find that point where the engine wants to engage and pull you forward. Try and sit and hold that biting point. And then as you want to progress forwards a foot, release the clutch, the throttle is steady and stable, and you'll move forwards. Pull the clutch back into biting point, and you'll hold the bike still on the hill, and then again repeat it, pulling forwards and using the clutch. Very gentle control.
That was mega. So we've just done some skill stuff. The little things that a lot of people don't spend time focusing on but really help your riding. And it's so empowering just seeing people like get it and improve their riding, etc. We're now getting on the bikes, and we're going to have to make tracks to get to these ruins because we kind of played around a little bit longer than we were planning to. Perfection in my riding at all. I'm very much still learning and trying to improve. But let's just talk about a few little things that might make you a bit more comfortable and things to keep in our mind as we're riding through the day-to-day. So the first one, we're going to do a quick refresh on standing position and balance. And then we're going to do a little bit of smooth front braking while we've got a downhill here. And then we're going to set up the theory for cornering with our weight versus our hands, because you should be able to go around a corner without using these relatively effortlessly. So you're really using your feet to turn instead. So we're going to talk about that now, but we'll practice it when we've got a straight, because it's not really like cornering territory here. So first of all, standing with a bike. Does anyone want to be? Do you want to be the good No. Again, this is just like a quick recap of what we talked about the other day. Trust us, we've got a bike. So you want to be finding your comfortable position, and where your weight is on the bike is going to change your traction on the wheels. So both for cornering and traction on your front wheel. So when you put a bit more weight on the front wheel, your front wheel is going to bite a little bit more and help you turn. And also then weight back for traction, for acceleration, etc. But then up and down hills, you're going to use your weight forward and backwards to find balance so that you're central on the bike. A key thing to think about is the amount of weight and pressure on your hands. If your hands are getting really tired, then think about where your body is. And the center of your body is a key part. So you also want to think about where your feet are. So your feet where you feel comfortable now, if you were to stand up. So you want to be in a position where you can access your control. So, hang on, I'm backwards. Which one's your brake? Because at the moment, you're not covering your brake. So it's a good idea to have a riding position where you're planted solidly on your bike, so middle of the foot, and then you've got access to your brake at all times. If you think about not covering your rear brake, the reaction if you need it, yourself centrally, you wouldn't stand like this or like that. So try and picture that with your feet. And then where your weight is, you want to be able to have quite light hands. Now if you're going down a hill, you're naturally going to be forward on the bike. You want to be thinking about just cutting your weight back a tiny bit. And if you're then starting to go down really steep hills, think about the hips joint bending, not like your back, because then if you start adding vibrations, you want to keep your like lying upright. Anyone jump in with anything too if you think I'm croaking noises. So do you feel comfortable? No, so you're riding? Correct, yeah. If we had a broom, it's the easiest way. Elbows. So right now your elbows are really in. So if I push you, there's quite a lot of flex. Curl your elbows up a tiny bit. Not just your shoulders, your elbows. You see how much more solid you are? So that is a really weak position. But as soon as you put your elbows up, you've got a lot more control and stability. And once you start adding speed and things like that, that stance with so much more drive to hold the bike in line than sort of a weak position. On the sort of like sit down, you don't need to be like riding around going like this, but it's something to think about and be more conscious of. If you suddenly hit something that's maybe a little bit more bouncy and rocky, think about the stability in your upper body because you've got a lot more strength with your elbows up. And if you hit something, you can lean easily. If you're like this, you don't have any, you don't have anything. You want to feel it? Pushy thing? Yeah, when you feel the pushy thing, it's quite obvious, isn't it? Yeah. Sure. You ride along doing a squat, so you've got to think about using your muscles the right way. So if you put your hips back slightly, you're going to lower your shoulders, but it's like your balance point still. Whereas if I go down, I'm not very balanced like that, and I'm going to fatigue. Whereas if you bend at the hip joint, at the waist, I'm still really solid, but I'm lower for the bars. Okay. Riding down a hill like this is just a really steady exercise. I want you to get on your bikes, turn the engine on, and just ride down here as slowly as you can. Feel free to have a bit of clutch in and a little bit of throttle, just so you've got a bit of stability. But I want you to be using your front brake to moderate your speed. And it's not necessarily something that you're going to be doing when you hit a hill, but getting used to using your front brake smoothly is really important, because an aggressive grab on a front brake can give you a bit of a nasty...
So no back brake at all?
No, just because we're in a super controlled environment, nice and steady, but just get used to being really smooth and gradual on that front brake. And just try and go down as slowly as you can. Again, use a bit of the flywheel to help you, so rev it a little bit. And that will help you have a bit more balance. But don't go so slow you feel like you're going to fall off, but just try and control that speed with your front brake. Finding biting points on your engine. And then I want you to pull forward really gradually and try not to dig a hole. If you're digging a hole, you're putting too much power down, and so you're breaking traction. So just try and pull away really steadily and then stop again. Hold it and then go again. And we'll do that first. I think we probably need a slightly bigger hill to do the roller back thing. I don't know, we can try it on this hill. And
Right, Vanessa, don't fall off. I'm meant to do a good demonstration.
So the exercise we're doing here is all about getting super smooth and gentle front brake control. Lots of people are intimidated by their front brake. You can easily have a washout and lose your front wheel if you use your front brake correctly. So get yourself a downhill, and as slow riding speed as you can, just practicing squeezing on that front brake slowly and progressively. And it should be so smooth that your forks don't even compress, and you can just gently put on the front brake and get a really good control of the feeling of the support that front brake can give you.
Roll backwards. I'll try and
Yeah,
show
this
you.
is a good one.
So if I've got throttle on, I'm going to use the brake. That's clutching. Can you see the front brake there? It just skidded. Whereas if I use the engine, to go backwards, I can go backwards really controlled, and then slow down when I want, move forward when I want. Whereas if I do that with the brake,
Yeah, been there, done that
just
1,000
skid it.
times.
And this is on a gradual hill, and that was, I can't make it skid,
Been on
that was
shit
on
like
this
that,
hill
and-
skidding. So take that onto something steeper, then you can get into trouble much more easily. The beauty now is that I've got both feet on the ground. Gives you a lot of stability, whereas if I was trying to use my brake, I'd only have one foot. So if there was no ground on this side because of a rut or camber,
Frequently.
I wouldn't have balance, which means I'd then only have the front brake, which we know is not, I mean, that's not exactly great.
It's not going to hold you most of the
It's
time.
not going to hold you on a
On
steep
steep.
hill, that's for sure.
I've done that 1,000.
And then if you then try and turn backwards, like, I can't turn. Whereas if I use the engine,
I want to
that
practice
really,
that.
Oh, it's seriously a good one.
so that's the braking part. I then want you to practice just coming to a stop. Don't worry about the noise. And that biting point. And then roll forward. So this is really finite, like clutch control. You can feel that biting.
Very good.
So if everyone want to go now? Like a wet
Many people find this slow practice incredibly boring, but I do really recommend you put some time into it, because these foundations will help elevate all of the rest of your riding. I'm not saying you need to go out and spend a whole day doing this. Every time you ride though, take 10 minutes, take 5 minutes, and just do a little bit of refinement on your braking, your clutch, your throttle, and you'll start to really notice an improvement in your bike control.